So with the help of my friend Graham and Alex, we got the engine in the 240. Everything's sitting pretty good. Mounts are all tight, and the booster is the turbo. So it also has the compressor housing hitting the tub. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. Might have to reclock it. Might have to shave some of it down. Might have to hammer some of the tub in. Not really sure, we'll see. But for this, I think I can get a smaller booster and I can kind of move this back a little bit to hopefully get this off of there and give it a little bit of space. But I need to do some research on that tonight, so I'm gonna be doing that. I think this is a Z32 booster, but we'll find out here in a little bit and I'll let you guys know before the end of this video. But I'm really happy with how it's in there. Of course, I wish it wasn't touching the things over there, but it is what it is. We'll move forward and get it fixed. Alright, so we're on the way to go pick up some 240 parts. I'm picking up a gauge pillar pod to go right here, the triple pillar pod. And then I'm getting some strut tower braces for the front and rear, and a stock ECU that I can send off to be checked by RSFME. Alright, so we just got to the junkyard that we're going to. Hopefully we can get some stuff off the S14. Hopefully it's not too bad. But we'll see. They got a lot of GTOs and stuff in here. That's crazy. We made it to the second stop, second pull apart. We got the whole rear carpet out of that S14 that was burnt. We got some of the column covers and the B and C pillar covers. So there wasn't too much that we could get out of that car. It was pretty beat up. So hopefully this S13 in here is a little bit better. So we'll go find out. Alright, so we're out here at this pull apart. Found the S13. Front end's been cut off. I'm not sure why it's here. It doesn't look like it's been in a wreck. I mean, the front end could have been, but it's cut off. So I feel like someone cut it off to take it and put it on another car. But it still has a trans. So I'm gonna try and pull this by myself and get it out of here, because I know I'm gonna be killing KA trans left and right with this this built KA setup. So let's get to work. All right, so that's it for our journey pull aparts and Facebook meetups for the day. We got the rear carpet and interior pieces. We got 2 strut tower braces front and rear. We got a trans for a KA. We got a starter for a KA. Coil bearing. And then all the stuff that we got up in the front seat. We got the ABC, or the B and C pillars, the cover for the steering column, the triple pillar pod, the radio bezel, or the AC bezel I should say, the ECU, and I got a CRV armrest because I found a clean one and I can always sell those for like 30 bucks each. So now we're gonna go ahead and start making our way home. The turbo is sitting right here, and I think if I use the shims that came with the engine mounts, I think I should be able to lean it over some, because it just seems like it sits really crooked. I feel like it needs to be more centered. Alright, so we got clearance between the turbo and the tub. That's about as good as I think it'll get. One finger should be more than enough. It's poly mount, so I don't think the engine will be moving that far by any means. We're still hitting back here on the master, but I'm going to source a non-ABS manual 96 240 brake booster, and that should be thin enough to be about that wide rather than being this wide. So I'm hoping that'll give me enough clearance between there to where it won't really matter. I'm also going to reroute this brake line onto this side. It's gonna come straight over, kind of run along straight here. And I'll probably take a chunk out of this and run it underneath the, well, I won't be using this one. I'm also going to be running this brake line that would normally run next to the turbo. I'm going to clock it this way and then run it over along this side so it's farther away, so it doesn't heat up the brake fluid going to the passenger front caliper. Alright, so got back from picking up this Koyorad dual pass radiator from Justin over at Queen Speed Motorsports, and I don't have the correct brackets to install it up here because the upper points are moved in quite a bit. They don't use this mounting bracket anymore, which kind of sucks because I would have taken that off before painting it if I would have known that, but you live and you learn. So I'm not going to install it right now. I'm going to go ahead and start working on some of the stuff that we got from Rock Auto. I have a power steering line, the high pressure line that I need to put on. I got a power steering cooler, and I got some of the hoses for the underneath the intake, so probably do that. So I'm going to get started on it. Alright, so we got a couple more packages that showed up today. I didn't really record me putting the radiator and the hoses in and test fitting it, just because I got really excited and wanted to see it in. So I have the radiator in, I have the hoses on, intake manifolds taken apart right now because I still have to do all the hoses underneath it, but I just wanted to put the hose in so I could see how well it fit. I'm gonna have to trim this front side a little bit because it gets a little kinked right there. The lower hose fits phenomenally well. Like, I don't think I'll need to trim it at all. And then I need to make brackets that go from here to there, from there to there to hold the radiator in place. The lower mounts are in their spot, and then I need to build brackets to bolt the intercooler up to these two mounting points right here. And then we'll start working on the power steering cooler, and eventually we'll put an AC condenser in there too. Brackets over here painted up, all ground down, smoothed out. I also have the heater pipe set over there painted to match the rest of those that are already painted. And right now we're going to go ahead and work on the CV valve. I went ahead and took it out. We're going to be chopping the back end off of it and removing the inside, so it's just a straight through breather, and we'll run that to the catch can. So we'll go ahead and get that cut off. Alright, so now that we got the PCV valve cut and the insides taken out, I'm going to go ahead and put everything back on the engine.
You burned me one time, but now my fire's twice as bright.
Alright, so I got the brackets all painted up. I got one of the bottom ones on, I got both the tops on. So now we're going to go ahead and bolt on the last one. Good.
You hurt me one time, but it won't happen twice.
Alright, so I got the intake manifold all bolted together finally. The lower piece is attached to the upper piece. I got the windshield wiper motor in. Right now I'm working on getting the turbo and the downpipe off so I can get the booster out and kind of measure up to see what I need there. So right now I'm working on getting the downpipe off so I can then get the turbo off because downpipe gets in the way of the last bolt down there. So. Alright, so this is a few days later. I really struggled to get this bottom bolt out of the mount, not this one, but the one underneath it, and this one back here. They were both seized, and I couldn't get them off no matter what. I went out and bought a 14mm line wrench, hoping that just having the extra sides on it would help it grab it, but it still didn't, so I ended up having to use a pair of vice grips. Finally got it out after about an hour of fighting it, so now I'm just going to go ahead and remove the bolts, get the manifold off, and see where that manifold sits me. So I got the Megan Racing manifold off. I got the CX Racing manifold on. I called it an ISR earlier, but I was wrong. And I can't put the compressor housing on the turbo because it hits the tub right here. I really should have put this together and did all of this before trying to put the tub on and everything, but you know, I don't think far ahead, so we're in this situation. So now I gotta figure out how exactly to make this work, and I'm not quite sure how it's gonna happen, but we'll get there sometime. Alright, so camera died. I didn't really have a chance to record it, but I actually got the compressor housing to fit without touching the tub. I ended up using another shim on the engine mount down here. Probably not the correct way to do it, but you know, sometimes things be like that. The engine looks like it's sitting pretty straight. The transmission's straight inside the tunnel, so I'm not too worried about it. There's just 2 extra shims on this side compared to this side. This side has 2 shims, that side has 4. But my turbo doesn't hit, that's all that matters. Everything else will kind of sort itself out. And now I don't have to worry about the clearance between my master cylinder, the brake booster, and the turbo housing. So I can run my, my exhaust over a little bit, down, and then down through there. So I don't have to worry about cooking my brakes. I am gonna need to get a cover for the distributor, just kind of heat shield to protect that. But I mean, other than that, we're looking to be in a lot better shape than we were, so I'm gonna get back to work on putting everything back together and getting it right. I need to go pick up a brake booster, hopefully. I think my friend Luke has one for an S14 non-ABS, so I'll probably just end up using that one because the one that I have in the car is far too big for what I need. It's just too long. I'd much rather it sit further back and keep it away from the exhaust and keep it cool. So we'll do that tomorrow probably. And I'll hopefully get the intake all sorted out, get the EGR ports welded up on it and get that on. So now that we got the new turbo on and we're kind of mocking it up, getting it all set up and ready to be there for the rest of its life, we need to go ahead and clock the center housing because from the old manifold it sat a little bit more angled. So Alright, so the turbo is properly clocked. I'll probably need to get a new line. I'd like to get a 90-degree fitting on it. The one that I have up there is straight fitting on either side. It's just kind of kinked over at the end and I don't really care for that, so I'll probably just go get some new ones made. And I also might just get it to where I can run it, I don't know, if I'll either go along this route, along the front, and use these 2 holes right here to kind of run it down under the intake manifold, or if I'll go back. We'll kind of figure that out once I get the intake on, and I can kind of like just run a piece of string or a hose just somewhere just to see how I like where it goes. But so got a couple more things done off camera. I got the hot side of the intercooler piping all ran. I need to get this chopped off and then welded shut because I won't be running a blow-off valve on this car. I'd rather have the compressor surge and the chatter. But yeah, this one's all ran to the intercooler, worked pretty well. Have the one for the driver's side. I need to get a step-down coupler for this side, and then I can run that to the throttle body that I also need to pick up. But for the most part, all I've been working on today is getting the intake side of everything figured out and getting all the coolant hoses figured out. I have this hose down here that I finally got. Everything kind of ran, so just trying to get that all finalized so I can finally bolt this up for good and just leave the intake on there. But I still got a little bit more to go, so I'm gonna keep working on it.
Alright, so we're in Monroe. We're on the way over to my friend Luke's house to grab a brake booster that he thinks might be in his parents' garage, so I'm gonna go look for it. Then we're gonna go head over to Tristan's house, go skate for a little bit, and maybe we'll check out his IS and maybe go do some stuff with that thing. But for now, we're just gonna cruise to Luke's house with the doors off and enjoy having a nice day finally. It's been raining for like the past week and I hated it.
So I went out last night and I picked up a brake booster from a manual 93 240. So it's not the skinniest one it could be, but it's skinny enough. It's definitely farther away from the turbo than it was. I painted it and everything. It was old. It's from '89. But now I need to get these hard lines moved back some, get them all tucked up to where they need to be and where they're going to permanently be. And then after that, I need to do a lot. So I got the brake lines all ran after I got the master cylinder and the booster on. I ended up running this brake line that used to run on this side of the master. I folded it over and ran it on this side, straightened out all the lines along the back side as much as possible. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to zip tie them all together just to kind of hold them in place. I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to cover them up or if I'm just going to P-clamp them in place on the upper edge of the firewall. Haven't really decided that yet. So we got the fuel pressure regulator and the catch can all mounted up. Have the lines running to them. Pretty much done. I just need to get a different size hose to run from this to the catch can over there. I'm gonna take manifolds off just so I can finish everything up easily and get to all the stuff that I need to get to. Sitting over here, injectors in it, all the hoses on the underside all finished up and whatnot. EGR ports have been welded shut, so it's ready to go on for its final time. Power steering system is all mounted up. I just need to make a U for this fitting down here that feeds the pump from the reservoir. It's got a big hose with a big loop in it right now. Basically, it's a fitting that comes straight off back here, and I needed to do at least a 90 so it can point down and I don't have to make the hose do a complete U-turn. But I'll get that finished here soon. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, do whatever you got to do. And we'll catch you in the next video where I am working on the fuse box and wiring harness and getting that all ran and extended where it needs to be and put into places where it needs to be. So, I'll catch you guys later. Take care. Have a good night.